So a little bit about myself. My name is Ajwa. Ajwa is an Ashanti name. It means girl born on Monday. My late father was from Ghana. My late mother was from Lesotho. And I was born here in South Africa. So I am a daughter of the African continent. Yes. And Mama Sibongile's message was so powerful. It's so important. She said something I never knew about how much the other countries sacrificed in order to help South Africa. They opened their borders. They sacrificed some of the economic help that could have boosted their own economies. And one thing that's important is you also taught me about the power of the youth. So if the youth can come together and revolutionize an economic system, the youth can also come together and break some of these barriers, these walls that have been created by these colonialists. Berlin Conference, they divided our continent like leftovers from a school lunch. And one thing South Africa has is a strong youth that has the power to unite. So Mama Sibongile, your message was really, really strong, and it's one that I will always remember. And it's a great reference point for some of us. And for me, I want to thank you for your struggle. Because if you and your peers never had the courage to struggle, some of us would have not received the education that we received. So I think from my side, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So a little bit about myself. I'm a mining engineer by qualification. I'm not going to bore you with all of the qualifications, but eventually you'll know that for me to get the doctor title, I got a PhD. I'm 35 years old. I turned 35 2 weeks ago. And I brand myself as an advocate for mineral-based economic development. And I live by two slogans: African solutions for African problems, and African minerals for African development. Those are my two major slogans. All the research that I do focuses on how can we use the minerals on the African country to grow, African economies. And one of the most important things is what Mam Sibongile spoke about, is by understanding what all of us have and by collectively coming together and being united in making it work for us. So I think with that, Jess, we can do a question and answer and jump into question number one.
Great. Thank you so much again for your beautiful introduction. Yes, indeed. We need to know about our minerals and understand them. So my first question to you would be, how can we understand South Africa and its land? So when I'm talking of land, I'm talking of the soil, to what they found minerals and resources. Because we only know South Africa as from a flag. We will know South Africa as from the languages. We will know South Africa as from the regions. But we need to also know South Africa as from its land, its resources.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things is we need to read about our own countries. We need to read about what South Africa has. Mam Sibongile said something. She said South Africa has given so much to the rest of the world. She spoke about the education, mathematics, philosophy. Did you know that 40% of the gold that is in circulation in the world comes from South Africa? The gold that is being recycled, So wherever you meet a person and they're wearing gold, there's a 40% chance that whatever gold they're wearing comes from South Africa. So how do you know that? Of course, you need to do your research. There's so much information. That's why Gauteng is known as, the city of gold. And, it's by reading that you learn that about some sources say 75%, others say 87% of the world's PGM, platinum group metals, come from South Africa. These are, the metals that make our cars safer to drive. They're the metals that are in our computers, optical fibers, in medical devices. All of them, these platinum group metals, around 87% to around 75 to 87% of them come from here, the Northwest. So it's very important for us to read, to understand. By reading, you learn that 80% of the world's manganese is an important metal, important mineral in creating metal, comes from South Africa. You've got China here, and I do have Chinese clients, and this is just for my personal opinion. You've got China coming to South Africa mining manganese. For them, the business is not in the mining. The business is in the manufacturing, turning the manganese into steel. That's where the money is. Simply mining it makes it cheaper for them to, to extract more money from the value chain. So you've got Chinese companies coming to South Africa, mining the manganese because it's cheaper for them to sell if they come here and they mine themselves. And South Africa used to be the biggest gold producing country. It doesn't mean the gold is not there, it's still there. It's just very difficult to access because it's very deep. We don't have enough technology, to extract this deep gold, which is why our organizations are looking so much into modernization. So now we've dropped from first, I think, to 8th place, but we are still a significant producer of gold. So I think, how do you learn about minerals in South Africa? You read. You understand? And don't only read about the mineral wealth of South Africa, because there are other countries, which is somewhere in the questions that Jessica is going to ask, that are also rich in minerals. So I think, first of all, become friends with your books. Read. And don't only restrict yourself to reading what the colonialists have created for us. Go and research other information. Go and find out. You find out that gold mining was occurring in the northern parts of Limpopo long, long before colonization. Go and Google the true history of Africa, not just what is shown to you. You understand how those minerals have been exploited, but we'll come to that. Let me not get ahead of myself.
Thank you so much. So with that answered, why is it important to our African youth, or us as a community, African community, to be knowledgeable in the matter of our minerals? Because I'm sure if the youth was here, they were going to tell you, why should I know about gold? Why should I know about cobalt? Why should I know about all those things? What benefit do I have in it?
So if you know you've got fertile soil in the backyard, you can plant maize, carrots, and you can harness them yourself and you can feed your family. So we don't know what we are sitting on. We do not know what opportunities are available in terms of entrepreneurship and employment. We do not travel to go and see what other countries need that we can provide. So the question is, why do they need to know? It's to create opportunities for ourselves. Right now, South Africa is struggling with one thing. It's legislating small-scale mining. Small-scale mining does not need a lot of capital like large-scale mining. Maybe if the youth knew about it, they would advocate for government to fasten the process. Because obviously you need policies and legislation to regulate a business environment. As soon as we get a grip as a continent on that issue of artisanal and small-scale mining, how we regulate it, formalizing it, then we can promote subsistence mining. We can have people going to apply for concessions, and you can have a youth form a small group saying, okay, we are going to go and try and explore a certain area and see if we can mine, right? Now, you don't understand the power of small-scale mining. I don't know how many people have heard of companies like Anglo-American and De Beers. Did you know that De Beers started as De Beers Consolidated Mine? Cecil John Rhodes consolidated a group of small diamond mines and make them into one big group, which is now gave birth to Anglo-American Platinum, Kumba Iron Ore. So now imagine if somebody in our generation starts that. They understand that, these small commodities, obviously you have to either, find someone who understands the mineral or go and educate yourself. But it would help us become not only employees but also entrepreneurs and push for systems that enable us to become entrepreneurs. Yeah. And also, by understanding what other countries have, you understand if you, for example, cross the border, go to Zimbabwe, and go and understand Zimbabwe's mineral resources. Go and understand how small-scale mining works in Zimbabwe. Perhaps you can partner with somebody there, because their legislation maybe promotes small-scale mining. Go and start a small-scale mine in Zimbabwe, partner with somebody, you understand, bring their skills, start yours here. Go and learn from a person in Zambia, a person in Ghana, how small-scale mining works. You understand, know that, okay, I need a little bit of capital to start it. I want to mine gold. And if I tell you how much those guys make, you won't believe me, but I'll disclose it at the back. Yeah.
On that topic, how many countries of those foreign countries we can also mention who have the biggest, maybe higher number in minerals that we can collaborate with or create those entrepreneurial relationships?
So many. Let's start with Zimbabwe. You know, one of my most favorite countries is Zimbabwe. And I do believe Zimbabwe will rise again. Yes. Zimbabwe minerals, thank you, Mom, are very similar to those in South Africa. They've got gold, they've got, you know, they've got gold, they've got your copper, they've got diamonds, so on and so forth. And then you've also got the DRC. The DRC has got DRC does not have ordinary copper. It's got high-grade copper. And it's also got a lot of diamonds. Just to mention a few, Libya has got industrial minerals such as, you know, salt, clay, and other industrial minerals. Angola is very well known for its diamonds and its oil reserves. Nigeria is a very oil-rich country. It's got gold as well. It's also got iron ore. And obviously Ghana. Ghana is very rich in iron ore, limestone, gold. Ghana has also got some diamonds, but the mining has just gone down over the years. And I mean, Lesotho right here, Lesotho has got some high-quality diamonds. So I think almost every single African country has some sort of a mineral, yeah.
Speaking of that, you know, there are people stating that maybe the reason we do that is because we're lacking the skills or the talent to use our own minerals. Because remember, we have many people that are educated toward this field of minerals and everything. Do we lack skills or do we lack talent? What is it that we can't maybe manage to bring to pull that maybe higher number of our youth into that field in a way to boost our economy?
Okay, I think one of the biggest things we lack is courage. Because the idea is you can have the education, but if you have an education, it gives you the ability to make a salary. If you want to make money in mining, generational wealth, you need to own something. So you need to invest in capital. So we call it upstream. So in order for mining to make money for a particular community, it's the people in those communities who must invest in the mining. So the business must come from you. So we can have the education, but now all of us educated people, and you know, I know I'm a bit of a hypocrite for saying this, we go and work for large-scale mining companies. But you've got few people who make a move, who want to go and open their own mines. Again, not afraid to start more. I mean, opening a mine is not child's play. You know, it's a lot. But you start small by starting with things such as small-scale mining. You learn how to open a small business. Like, you know, even economically, we know SMN, what is it? Small and medium-sized enterprises. Do so much for communities, let alone regulated small-scale mining. Imagine what it can do for, So I think we just lack the courage. You know, one thing I've noticed in South Africa compared to other African countries is we lack a spirit of entrepreneurship. We find employment safer, whereas, you know, kids are making big moves. Don't mind how the other countries on the continent look. These kids are not afraid to go and be entrepreneurs. That's why a person from, for example, Malawi can come here, put a crate on the corner of the Bree Street and be plaiting somebody's hair. That is an entrepreneur. So I think one thing we need in South Africa is a spirit, or Africa, it's to strengthen the spirit of entrepreneurship so that we can be the business owners. Because if we become the business owners, we own the value chain. You own the business from the day you mine until the time you sell the product. So it means those shares, right, that business ownership, those returns come where? Comes back home. They come to you. So I think we do have the education. Many people educated, but we don't have many Patrice Mutsipe, those people who own the mining companies. Yeah, so to answer your question, we need courage, and we need to foster a spirit of entrepreneurship, enable our children, build our children to become employers and not employees.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Adwa. That was such a beautiful and powerful, actually, topic on minerals. And thank you so much for the wisdom, and which is so true. Without collaboration, without entrepreneurship, we are doomed. We don't know what we're doing.
There are so many African methods that have been used by our forefathers. It's just that we have not refined them. That is where our failure is. We do not refine our processes. We do not modernize them. We do not bring them into the 21st century. And then somebody brings you something that goes against everything you believe in, because another thing of Africa is we work as one. So it's so important, you know. There's a story I listened to in TED Talk where there was a problem in, I think somewhere in Senegal or Mali, they were having a drought. They were having an irrigation problem with their crops. And they brought in all scientists from across the world. Nobody could find a solution to this problem. And then what happened is the locals, I don't know what happened, they said, let's go back to a local way of digging small wells and irrigating our crops. And that is what solved the problem. So sometimes, you know, I am a strong advocate for African solution for African problems. So let us invest in our own solution finding. Let us refine it. You know, let us go back and take the old ways our people used to mine, because those are the environmentally friendly ways that don't produce acid mine drainage. And let us harness them, invest our education in them, research them and use them to grow our continent. Thank you.
Thank you.